Taxes can be quite confusing, and let's be honest, nobody wants to deal with it, but unfortunately, we have to. However, for Amazon sellers, some recent changes in legislation has made it much easier for us. So I'm going to show you how dealing with sales taxes on Amazon works now and what you need to do. First off, it's important to differentiate between sales tax and income tax. I see way too many people getting the two confused. Sales tax is what you pay extra when you buy something, like when you buy a pair of shoes that's for sale for $100, but you're charged sales tax on top of that, so you end up paying a total of, let's say, $110. That extra $10 is sales tax, and how much sales tax depends on where you're buying the item at. There can be city sales tax, state sales tax, and federal sales tax. So as an Amazon seller, you're selling items on Amazon, so you don't pay sales tax on the products you sell, the buyer does. And I think this is where a lot of people get confused. For example, if you're selling an item on Amazon for $20, the buyer is going to pay $20 plus whatever the tax rate is, not you. Now, income tax, on the other hand, is a tax that you have to pay based on how much money you make from working. This is usually a deduction that you see on your paycheck, but that's an entirely different topic on its own. However, I will touch on how Amazon handles this later on in the video to help you file your income tax. Now, before moving on, I just want to be clear that I'm not a tax expert, so consider everything you see in this video for informational purposes only. If you have any specific questions about your circumstances, you should consult with a tax professional. Okay? Now, due to recent changes in legislation for online retailers like Amazon and eBay, which are considered marketplace facilitators, they're now responsible for handling sales tax for their sellers. What that means is, as a seller on their platform, Amazon will calculate, collect, report, and remit sales tax on your behalf. So what does this mean for you? Simply put, you don't have to worry about the complexities of managing sales tax. Amazon does it all for you, and I'll explain a bit more about this in a minute. There are a few caveats though that I want to go over, and this is specific to the US. I'm not sure how this works in other countries, but when you register your business, most states will require you to obtain a sales tax permit. And that's because when you start a business, you're obviously selling something, so they expect you to collect sales tax. But even though Amazon is now handling the sales tax for you, you might still need to file in your home state to show your annual sales. However, because Amazon is collecting and remitting the sales tax for you, your taxable sales will just be $0, meaning you owe nothing. Because again, Amazon is collecting and remitting to your home state for you. This is because your home state sees your total sales as a deduction, meaning that you report the sales, but you don't actually owe anything, thanks to Amazon's facilitation. Now, there might be another scenario where you might still have tax liability, and that has to do with FBA, which stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. If you're doing FBA, which means you're sending your inventory to Amazon's warehouses, Amazon will distribute your inventory to their warehouses around the country to better fulfill their Amazon Prime shipping service to their Amazon Prime members. In this situation, you could establish a physical presence in various states, known as Nexus, which might require you to register and file in those states. Nexus is when you meet specific minimum sales thresholds for that state. For example, in Arkansas, the physical presence or economic threshold is $100,000 in sales or 200 sales in a year. Or in California, it's $500,000 in a year. You'll need to consider if this will affect your tax liability. So if Amazon doesn't collect sales tax on your behalf in any state where you do have Nexus, then you may have to file in those states. You can actually check to see where your inventory is being stored using Amazon's inventory detail report. Similarly, for states without sales tax, such as Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon, you should consult with a CPA to ensure that you're fully compliant with their local regulations. This might involve registering in those states and understanding any nuances in their tax laws that could affect your business. So basically, what I'm suggesting is, if you're more of a risk-adverse type of person, then it might be helpful to be proactive about your potential tax liabilities for states where you have Nexus, states that don't have sales tax, and states where Amazon isn't collecting sales tax for you. By consulting with a tax professional to make sure that you stay compliant with their state tax laws and avoid any surprises during tax season. Now, you can actually check to see which states are actively being managed by Amazon in Seller Central. Click on Settings, Tax Settings, and take note that it says here, marketplace tax collection states have been added rapidly. So as legislation continues to evolve, Amazon is updating these settings. So as you can see here, if you scroll through this list, you can see all the states that Amazon is currently collecting sales tax for me. If you click on the Add States button here, you can see that there's a few states on my list here that are unchecked. These are the states where Amazon currently isn't collecting sales tax on my account, such as Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. But this makes sense because these states don't have sales tax, so no tax needs to be collected. So basically, as you can see, every state that does have sales tax is already pre-selected by default, and Amazon is handling all of the tax collection and remittance for me. But you should log into your own Seller Central account though, just to verify that for yourself. Now, as I just showed you, because Amazon is handling all of the necessary states for me, I personally don't worry about filing due to FBA or having Nexus in each state. But like I said, if you're more risk adverse, then definitely speak to a CPA. Now, one more thing that I want to mention here is that each year, if you do more than $20,000 in gross sales or have more than 200 transactions or $600 in total sales with no transactions, Amazon will provide you with a 1099-K form. A 1099-K form is what's used to report income earned through online platforms for tax purposes, and Amazon will provide this form to you by January 31st of that year for you to file your tax return. You can download your 1099-K form from the Reports Tax Document Library page. And if you need help on how to file your tax return, you can find more information in this section here. And I'll leave a link to this page down in the description below. Now, as I explained in the beginning of the video, anytime you buy something, businesses charge you sales tax. However, now that you're selling on Amazon and you're a business, you can save a ton of money by not having to pay sales tax on purchases that you make for your business. A huge expense would be purchasing your inventory. And you can actually enroll in a program called A-Step, which stands for Alibaba Sales Tax Exemption Program. And by enrolling in this program, you won't get charged sales tax when you buy your inventory from Alibaba, which will save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And this video right over here will show you exactly how to do that.